And welcome to Newsfeed. My name is Mumbi Chege. Now, the Catholic Church will reopen on 19th of this month after President Uhuru Kenyatta ordered a phased reopening of worship places. The church, through Cardinal John Njue, has said priests will be guided from Tuesday next week on the reopening guidelines. The move comes amidst a number of churches with large congregations halting their reopening and announced to continue with online services. Parklands Baptist Church, JCC, Jumia Mosque are among worship places that will not reopen, at least for now.
At this juncture, as the shepherd of the Archdiocese of Nairobi, I announce that all our places of worship shall officially be reopened on Sunday, 19th July, even though the whole thing is being opened on a Tuesday. So if any parent do a mass on Tuesday or Wednesday or before Sunday, I think it is still valid. I urge you all to follow the pastoral liturgical guidelines and the guidelines given by the Ministry of Health to ensure that we all remain safe in our places of worship. The guidelines will be shared by all the deans in our 14 deaneries in the Archdiocese of Nairobi. I think at this time also it's good to say thank you really to the government that finally we have come to a point where now the worship can be started. We know that this will be improved more and more so that things become ordinary. But anyway, up to now, they have given us the opportunity to have the 100 people in our churches and so on. Of course, here we need more, but anyway, I have finished my point. You understand what I'm saying?
Meanwhile, the Anglican Church will not reopen soon. All Saints Cathedral in Nairobi says the church has set up an internal task force to advise on COVID-19 measures, and you'll be getting that report in our subsequent bulletins. Now, the Independent Policing Oversight Authority has strongly condemned the attack on a police officer by members of the public in Kibokoni, Mombasa County. Now, IPOA has noted that it has clear mechanisms for receiving and investigating complaints and has urged members of the public not to take the law into their hands, but to lodge complaints with the authority at no cost by dialing 1559. Residents of Yamugwe area in Kiharu constituency stand to benefit from Maragua Bulk Water Dam, which is among other water projects that the Ministry of Water and Irrigation has embarked on. The much-awaited Maragua Water Dam will be constructed at a cost of 900 million shillings and is expected to be complete within 18 months.
According to the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Water and Irrigation, Joseph Wairagu, the ministry is devoted in distribution of clean and irrigation water to many parts of Maragua constituency, which has been left out in water connectivity.
There has never been any running water there, and I saw it for the first time. So that work continues. We want to continue connecting more people, and the pipes are there. We have given jobs to the local youth to do that work, and they are doing it very, very, very happily.
The project, which will cost 900 million shillings, is expected to take 18 months and has uplifted the morale of the residents who are expecting to benefit from the dam in irrigating their farms.
Tulikuwa tunabeba mitungi tunapeleka huko juu, tunachoka sana, na sasa tutaweza kulima, kupanda sukuma, kupanda hoho, tutakuwa na kusafi.
The contractor, Jiao Yu, noted that they will employ manpower from the local community in order to create job opportunities for the residents.
And also we will provide enough employment jobs posts for the local people. For the peaking time, we can offer like 100 or even 200 job positions to the local people. So I think local people will also benefit from this.
Muhammad Ali, TV47.
Now, a research by Tifa Research Company has indicated that Kenyans are now less concerned about the medical risks that come with the COVID-19 as compared to April this year. Now, it says that at the end of April, 71% of Kenyans were very worried about the virus, but that has dropped to 54%. 21% of Kenyans are not worried at all in April. Only 10% were not worried of COVID-19. And the Anglican Church will not reopen soon. All Saints Cathedral in Nairobi says the church has set up an internal task force to advise on COVID-19 measures. Let's take that story.
The All Saints Cathedral, we will not open the church until when we feel we are ready. Let me clarify, it's not because of the limitation of 100 people. It has more to do with the safety of our people.
And we'll be getting the story on domestic violence very soon from Zainab Mohammed. Meanwhile, you can keep talking to us via Twitter or on Facebook. You can tell us about our stories. Tell us about the views you have on the stories we are running for you this afternoon. In his address to the nation on 6th of July, President Uhuru Kenyatta pointed out the rising cases of gender-based violence in the country during this COVID-19 pandemic, further stating that if the family is under attack, so is the nation. But what is the root cause of the rise? How can it be mitigated? Our reporter Zainab Mohammed took a deeper look into this matter and prepared this special report on the silent cries behind closed doors.
On the 13th of March, Kenya reported its first case of the novel coronavirus. 2 days later, just like many other countries in the world, Kenya was partially locked down as a containment measure to curb the spread of the coronavirus. And 4 months later, Kenyans are feeling the heat of the deadly pandemic and the measures it brought along with it. But one particular vice seems to be visibly rising and getting worse by the day: gender-based violence. In this special report, we're going to shed some light on the rising numbers of gender-based violence cases in Kenya, the silent cries behind closed doors. not so urban part of Nairobi. Specific location not to be named due to security reasons of the persons sharing their experience on this story. We meet a group of about 10 women, many of whom are GBV survivors. Mary, not her real name, is a mother and a GBV survivor. Mary reminisces about how she met her heartbeat.
Tulipatana naye kitu 2015. Yeah, then we started dating, not even dating. Like for 1 week we started living together. But then I was still working. Though bado nalipa kwangu na nalipa kwake. Then 3 months into the relationship, ndo tuli move in.
But Mary says it was not long before the love of her life turned from sweet to sour and eventually to utter bitterness.
After like 2 months, kanza vita, arguing for no reason. One day he chased me out in the rain. Yeah, luckily nilikuwa na relatives. So when aliona sasa nenda na hiyo direction, akanirudisha kwa hao na akanifungia. Yeah, it was always like that. Mpaka nika lose job. I lost job.
Mary says she never understood the reasons behind the violence because anything and everything became a trigger.
Na kuchapa, kukurusha mitungi na ukitafuta reason na kuna probably you said something haukusikia ama ulisahau kufanya. Inakuwa vita.
And even though she hoped that things would get better, they only got worse for her and her baby. One time, she was chased out with a knife.
After that day, he came so drunk so that I had to make excuse. Out of nowhere, he slapped me, then pushed me to the wall. Nikaenda, so unajua mtoto bado wako hapo. Alafu ananifuata, mtoto lazima akufuate. See, I held her. So nilikuwa nimemshika akamgonga.
Mary says COVID-19 did not make things easier for her dwindling marriage as her abusive husband was now home early and angrily out of a job.
Alianza tu kunichapa. Kwanza aligonga meza ya glass ikavunjika. We used to live on a bed sitter, so you see there is no space. Nikajificha kwa kona. Ile kona nenda kujificha ilikuwa karibu na mtungi ya kawaida ile ya yellow. Akanirusha, ikaenda kama imenirusha huko. I still have the mark here.
However, Mary is not alone. Mercy, again not her real name, is a 19-year-old woman, too young to understand marriage and its problems perhaps, but Mercy is a mother and a wife. She says she met her significant other in secondary school, and after dating throughout high school, Mercy decided to move in with the apple of her eye.
Tulipatana shule. Ilikuwa shule moja, but boys walikuwa kando, girls walikuwa kando. Sasa hapo ndo tukaanza kudate. Kwanzia nikuwe form 1, tulikapatana form 1. Tukakaa na yeye mpaka sai.
Little did she know that the bed of roses will turn to a bed of thorns.
Sandi akaanza kunipiga, akaniumiza hadi masikio, of which sikuwa nasikia.
Mercy says it started with just a slap, and before she knew it, she started receiving a beating every day. At one point, Mercy says she was locked up for 1 week for staying out late while selling juice to provide for her young one, her abuser claiming that she was disrespectful.
Na kanifungia kwa nyumba almost 1 week. Kaa stoki nje, nikienda nje labda ni hapo tu kwa choo. Lakini hakuwa nataka niende kwa barabara juu watu wataniona.
Mercy equally saying her abuser felt she would not leave as she had sired him a son.
Alitake advantage akaona mdem hakuna mali ataenda na mtoi wangu. Juu amenizalia hakuna mali anaweza hepa.
A few distance from Mercy's Jane, again not her real name. Jane is also a GBV survivor, but Jane was not abused by her partner. One evening during curfew hours, Jane was heading home when she got attacked by a gang of 7 boys who raped her for hours before dumping her at a dump site.
Nilikuwa natembea kwenda stage. So kuna place nilikuwa nimesimama nikasikia boy amekaa akanipiga na chupa ya mzinga kwa kichwa. kumuuliza ni nini, kukatokea vijana wengine wakanishika. So ile na try kung'ang'ana nao, wakaanza kusema mwizi, kuuliza mwizi juu ya nini. Nikanipata nishaingizwa niko huko ndani, huko garbage. So kabla niongee nijue ni nini, wakaanza vita, maneno tu mingi, hakuna mtu angeza kunisaidia. Kutaka kujua kwa nini wananipiga, akakuwa toa nguo. Sasa nitoa nguo, hapo akanigeuzia.
Jen is emotional. The memories of that night are still vividly clear in her mind, even making her contemplate suicide.
Nilikuwa nasikia tu niko down. Sikuwa poa, hasira tu, sisikii kuongea na mtu, nasikia hata nikana za jiua, ni venye siamini kitu ile happen.
But like many GBV survivors, Jen has to find a way of coming to terms with what happened to her and to continue living with the scars left by her abusers.
Wasigive up, wang'ang'ane. Kama mimi nafurahi, mimi si victim, najua mimi ni victor saizi. Wajipe wako tu na heart. Kila kitu itakuwa poa.
Brenda is yet another survivor. She was betrayed by her own blood and thrown out at 1 a.m. in the night with nowhere to sleep and the harsh cruelty of curfew hours and law enforcers.
I come from a dysfunctional family. My dad is always in and out of our lives. So, growing up and getting into high school, and I had a lot of fights with my mom and dad. Since there was sexual harassment in my life at some point for a whole year by a relative, by an uncle.
The survivors have found refuge through a group of 3 activists who, through their own initiatives, have started a rescue home for GBV survivors. The initiative that started through a Facebook hashtag called Usikimye has now grown into a rescue and refuge initiative. Meet Njeri Wamegwi, Usikimye co-founder. Njeri, together with her 2 friends, ran the initiative. Njeri is also a GBV survivor. She says stigma surrounding GBV caused her to persevere in abusive marriage for a long time.
He hit me so hard I fell. And then he hit me again on my ears. And my ears started ringing, and he still hit me. And now I'm the kind of person, because I don't like shame. For some reason, I don't know why women carry the stigma of shame. I never used to scream. So nobody ever used to know me beaten, because I did not want the neighbors, when I'm driving out, to ever know that this woman was being beaten. So I never screamed. You hit me, I'm like, You know, I swallow the scream because I don't want to be embarrassed.
She further says what started as a small argument led her to leave and never return, though with permanent injuries.
I think that was the last straw. And I started planning to leave. And one day I left. I just woke. I think after 2 days, I was like, you know, I can't tell it is a revelation, but I just came to and I said to myself, Njeri, I think it is time for you to leave. You know, you had a family. I was estranged from my family, right? I was estranged from them. I was estranged from my friends, practically everybody. So the way I walked. I just took my car and I drove away, and I never came back.
The Usikimye activists group tell me how risky rescues can get, with some victims even changing their mind after reaching out to the group for help.
Get threats from these people. We will come for you. You know, you get that word they call you when you're an uncircumcised woman, and they're threatening, we will come for you and circumcise you. I'm like, try it.
The 4-room shelter hosts many survivors and has a transition program through which the survivors are taken through to ensure recovery and easy transition back to society.
Reach forward and up, and you gently arch back.
So what we do is, if you come in today, we give you 2 days to rest, and then a therapist comes and sees you. And then now we start thinking, we ask you, what do you think you can do? And then we work towards making sure that you're able to perfect that, so that by the time you're living here, we're not sending you out to the wild. But rather what we're doing is we're making sure that we've equipped you with a bit of skills, expertise, and even resources. Because I can give you the skills to make peanut butter, but I haven't given you even a cup of peanuts.
So what we do, especially that is what we do most with Njeri is if you're living, we make sure first your living situation for that month is sorted, and then your business or job is sorted. Mostly we also link them up with people who are able to employ them, and then now we let you go.
The Usikime Activism Group says the number of GBV cases coming their way have significantly increased during this COVID-19 pandemic, with the national statistics backing up the claim. As the National GBV Helpline reports, an increase in cases from 86 cases in the month of February to 115 in the month of March. 461 cases were reported in the month of April, with the number rising to 753 cases in the month of May. And as of June 25th, the number of cases were reported to have risen to 848 cases. Campaigns Officer Equality Now, Florence Machio, says, indeed there is a problem that requires a hastened solution.
Well, it's true that the GBV cases have gone high based on the reports that we get, either at the national number, the 1195 toll-free number, and also even with the partners on the ground that we support in terms of the cases they are receiving. There are very many factors that can contribute to this rising in numbers. We've been under lockdown since March. We've also been in curfew since March. And most of the people have also lost their livelihoods in terms of, they're no longer going to work. So there's a lot of stress. You find also that some children were safer in school than at home.
According to Florence, there is need to set up several government rescue homes that meet the right standards. NGO or activist-led rescue homes like that of Usikime risk closure from challenges such as security and even lack of operational funds.
So it is important that then we have shelters for survivors, and shelters that are run by government. And one might say, at this time, how do we build shelters? Makueni has shown us that you can actually do shelter. They've put up a shelter within this COVID season, and there are guidelines about shelters and different types of shelters. So county governments, because they work in tandem with the national government, need to be able to pull shelters for survivors so that we do not retain, you don't go to the hospital, you're treated, you make an OB, you get an OB and still go back to the same abuser. You think if the abuser knows you've reported them, will they spare you? They will not spare you. So all these things we need to put in place so that we don't have so many huge numbers by the end of COVID-19.
She further says GBV is not a new vice, but its effects have just been magnified by the COVID-19 pandemic, an existing cancer that is growing its roots deeper into our society.
It is a shadow pandemic. I think when COVID started, all over the world, even the UN signed a warning, sounded an alarm, and said they are seeing a rise in GBV. So Kenya is not, Kenya is not a country that then is not faced with the same that other countries are being faced with. In France, the government had to make a decision because hotels were closed, they decided to take on a hotel and take survivors there. So when police are called, they quickly, the survivors are removed from the abusers and taken to that hotel until the abuser can be arrested. So these had already been happening. New Zealand, they quickly formed focused on mental health because they realize many people will not be working, and therefore there will be a lot of health issues that need to be looked at. It's just the other day that now we have as a country now mental health guidelines. So many months after COVID started. So these are things that we should have done in the beginning as a country. It's not like we lacked information, but I don't think we focused holistically on dealing with this pandemic beyond the medical interventions of the virus itself.
From the many voices here at Usikime Rescue Home, it is clear that millions of women in Kenya are wiping silent tears once the door closes. And as the entire world feels the heat of this deadly pandemic, for these women, it is a double tragedy as they are abused and killed by people who are supposed to love, protect, and care for them. For TV47, I'm Zainab Mohammed.
quite a disheartening story on domestic violence during this COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you for that report, Zainab Mohammed. Now let's take a short break. We'll be back with much more in just a moment. Welcome back to Newsfeed. Thank you for staying with us. U.S. President Donald Trump was seen wearing a mask in public for the first time since the COVID-19 pandemic began. This happened as he visited a military medical facility outside Washington to meet up with injured soldiers and frontline healthcare workers.
Outs blessed with the rare gift of getting fans glued to their radio receivers.
Azpilicueta yule jamaa Muhispania mazi ni mkulima wa njugu na anapenda sana kunywa supu wa pweza.
Mouths that are synonymous to live football commentary. The mouths that have been in the game for decades. These are mouths of football.
Mtangazaji wa mpira wa kisasa lazima pia wa kisasa katika fikra zake.
This Sunday at 9 p.m. join me, Julius Juma, as I bring you these mouths of football in the feature playing